Last month, I decided I was going to try something a little bit stupid, and that is trying to collect every single Xbox 360 game ever released over here in the UK. That's more than 1,000 games. So just 3 weeks into the journey, here's an update on how it's going so far. Yep, so last month, in fact I think it was 3 weeks ago, I decided that I was going to try and collect every Xbox 360 game ever released on the PAL set. Now if you haven't watched the first video, I will link it up here somewhere, and it's also part of the playlist down below that I'll be updating every single month over the next, I guess, 2 years. Now simply put, I'm hoping to achieve this by the end of 2027, which is obviously the end of next year. So I've got about 1.75 years to do it if I'm going to do it in that time frame. Now I'm not starting from scratch because in the first video, like I say, I went through all of my collection already. Now in that video we ended on 252 games that I already had in the collection. However, since then, I went on my Game app, which is the app I use to track my entire collections. Every time I buy a game, essentially I scan it into that app and it kind of collates all the information. It means I'm not buying duplicates when I go out. I know what I've already got. It also tracks like the value of games and all that kind of stuff. And when I was adding one of the new games that I picked up this week, I added it in and I realised it was saying I had 260 Xbox 360 games, even though I'd counted 252 pretty carefully. And then I realised the reasoning for that was because just behind me on the shelf that you might not be able to see here, I've got quite a few number of like bigger box items. So games like Hitman Absolution, The Evil Within, Wolfenstein The New Order, and none of these games I had on my normal shelf. I've not got standard edition, I've only got the bigger box limited edition versions. So it turns out we're already up by 8 games. So we're already up to 260 games. So I'll put that up there so you can keep a track on the number. Now in that video we also discussed that if I was going to do it, I need to basically get another 400-ish games this year and another 400-ish next year, which works out at round about 30 to 40 games per month, so about 10 per week, if I'm going to do it by then 2027. Now that obviously is a lot of games, and that's to do it in still like a 2-year time frame. I know this is going to be a patient journey, it's not going to happen overnight or anything. And to do that I was going to have to be a little bit disciplined by not picking up other stuff. As you can see, I don't just collect for 360, I collect for multiple consoles and multiple systems, as well as buying new releases that are coming out, especially this year when there are so many new releases. So 3 weeks in, essentially I should have picked up between 20 and 30 games. So how have I got on? Well, first of all, I realised there was a slight issue. So, not really an issue as such, but I realised that, you know, these shelves are full, completely full, as are all the other shelves in my room. So I'm going to have to at least get some more room first before I do anything else. So that meant a quick trip to IKEA. Yes, so hopefully you can see here, we've added this Billy bookcase now, this extension unit. In fact, I'll flip the camera around. So originally my games, as you'll know, are here. So Xbox 360 runs from here, A, or numbers at the top, and then through A, Assassin's Creed, etc. down through to this row here. Now when I get to this row, it turned to Xbox, the original Xbox. Now I had nowhere for the Xbox to go. As I pan around my room this way, and you'll see like a bit of mess down here and stuff. This shelf's pretty empty, but this is all PlayStation. Now I didn't really want to, ideally I could move the original Xbox over here, so I've got the 360 gap, but there's still nowhere for PlayStation to go. And I didn't want to really split up PlayStation too much. I like it all being together with the PlayStation Lite and the PS3 here, etc. I could move something over there, such as the PS3, and then move Xbox over here and etc. But this shelf does have like a little bit of a purpose, at least. I mean, it's just display stuff at the moment, but it's nice to have an area where it's not like dedicated to one console, so I can just put stuff that I do find. We'll talk about this in a little minute. And then, yeah, this is all big box stuff. As I come at this side of the room, these are Blu-rays, and there's half a shelf at the bottom, but that's more for Blu-ray collecting. And the remainder of this shelf here is Wii at the bottom, PS1, Nintendo DS, and then more DS, and then Xbox One and Series X. And that's where it was up to. So yeah, I've extended this extender here. Now, the question is, do I put original Xbox, move it from there to there, and then 360 can just carry on down naturally to the next row here? Or do I just leave OG Xbox there? I mean, I have already put a few OG Xbox games side up here just as a gap filler for now. Or do I just run 360 straight across here, which would be essentially up to Z, so the last part of the alphabet. They'd all kind of get moved up a little bit, the new games go in, and then run it there. That's certainly the easier job, and that's what I'm swaying towards now. I also feel like, I'm just tripping over something, I also feel like you can't see games on the bottom shelves as much. If 360 is the pride of the room and what I'm concentrating on, especially when I'm filming videos, I want it kind of behind me, I want it at eye level up here. I guess, you know, in terms of the long run, if we're going for a full set, this entire billy will come up. We'll get another one of this size one and we'll have two, and then 360 will run from here all the way across, all the way across, all the way across. But we're not at that point yet. And when that does happen, what we'll do is we will move this extender over probably to this shelf, I'm thinking here, and then a full-size one there. Anyway, for now, yeah, this is all built. I think what I'm going to do is just move 360 into this shelf so it's easier to do, easier to access, and then we can just add them on as we go until we fill it up. So with the new shelf in place, what games have I picked up? Well, I've got a big old stack here to go through, as well as a couple more on the floor that I'll pick up in just a second, but let's start with these, I guess. So most games that I picked up this month were from either CEX, where I traded in a couple of items, but more on that in a second, and then also from Music Magpie. Now, if you're not aware, Music Magpie is a website over here in the UK where you can... They don't have any shops, I don't believe. I think they used to have shops, but they don't have any actual physical stores in the country. It's like an online-only store, and on that store, it is second-hand items pretty much only as well, I think. Maybe they have the odd new thing. Now, for the most part, they are very similar price to CEX. However, the bonus with Music Magpie is that they offer free delivery on every order. And they even have got some really good offers on games, such as 4 for £5, and I think it's 4 for £8. Now, with CEX, when you pick up the cheaper games at like 50p or £1, you still have to pay like £2.95 postage on every single game. Even if you're buying 3 games in kind of one order, you pay 3 lots of postage. So if you're buying like the £1 sports games, for example, it really does not make it worthwhile getting them from CEX, because you're going to be paying £4 a game essentially with the postage. With Music Magpie, you can pick up 4 games for £5 and you have free postage. So yeah, £1.25 a game for that deal, and the 4 for £8 obviously works out at £2 a game. So a good chunk of these, I think 8 of the games are from Music Magpie, and the rest are from CEX, and obviously we'll know via the stickers on the front of them. So first up, I picked up Splinter Cell Conviction. Again, this was a Music Magpie one, so pretty cheap, and most of the games I picked up today are quite cheap. Now, I do have Double Agent on the 360 already, and I've also got Rainbow Six Siege, and Rainbow Six Vegas, and Rainbow Six Vegas 2. I don't know how many Tom Clancy games there are on the 360 in total, but yeah, this certainly adds to that subset and gets me closer to finishing that subset. And for now, I'm just going to put these games on the new shelf before I then have the painstaking task of going through and alphabeticalising them all and putting them all in the correct place. Next up, we have Happy Feet 2. A game that I don't have a clue if it's any good or not. I remember going to the cinema to watch this film when I was young, like very young, with my family, and my mum and dad took me and my sister to see it, and I remember the film, I think it was the first one actually, being terrible. This is in a Kinect box, which made me think like it was a Kinect game at first, but it doesn't appear to be a Kinect game at all. I think it's just a standard Xbox 360 game. So yeah, I will have to put this into a regular 360 case where I've got some spare down at the bottom. Then part of the same order, Music Magpie, we got Grand Slam Tennis 2. If you watch any of my content at all, you'll know that I am, well, a bit of a sucker for a sports game. Essentially, you know, sports games are my guilty pleasure, whether that's tennis, whether it's football, whether it's even basketball, any sports game basically I enjoy. Never played this one growing up. I was more playing the Top Spin games rather than the Grand Slam games. I don't know if actually EA made Top Spin or not. I think it was different. But yeah, probably will give this one a try at some point, because when I'm kind of bored, I don't mind putting in a sports game and just grinding through some of the achievements. I then picked up Bionic Commando, which I've never heard of, ever. Still got the game $7.99 sticker on at the top. Again, this from Music Magpie. Also, just to note that all of the Music Magpie ones, apart from Happy Feet, which I don't know if it's because it's in their own box or not, because it's in a Kinect box, but every single Music Magpie one came with manual, which is pretty nice, because it is a bit of a lottery when you get in them. It's not too important on the cheaper games that are £1 or £2, but it's still nice to have, especially if some of these games do surge in value. you know, into the future. Not a clue if this one's good or not. If you've played it, let me know down in the comments. Then picked up Mass Effect 3, which I could not believe I didn't have. Obviously played this growing up, played the full Mass Effect trilogy. Absolutely love these games. And yeah, where is if I look over here, I've got Mass Effect 2 and Mass Effect 1. So both the Mass Effect first two games, but I didn't have 3 in the collection. Absolutely 360 staple. One of the best trilogies in gaming history, in my opinion. Happy to have that in the collection. Maybe it's something I'll revisit and play the 3 again at some point in the future. Then another sports title, picked up Virtua Tennis 3. So again, this is not EA, but it's also not the Top Spin series. So Virtua Tennis 3. Looks like this came out in 2007. I wonder when Grand Slam Tennis 2 came out. So Grand Slam Tennis 2. So this one looks like it actually came out in 2012, so right at the end of the 360 life cycle. Well, this was 2007, so nearer the start. So I'd imagine this one is slightly better, meaning I probably will jump into this one before I try and play this one. Next up, we had Red Faction Armageddon. Now, I think I've got is it Red Faction Guerrilla? I think that is the better one. I've already got that on the shelf over here. And I think this, if I'm not wrong, is the game where like the whole world is kind of like destructible, a bit like the Battlefield Bad Company games in a way. And I'm not sure, I'd imagine this is kind of like a similar premise, similar idea. But yeah, I have dabbled in this one in the past. Never like fully completed it, but I have played it. Never played the Armageddon version, so I wonder if it's as good as the first one, or even if this could be the second one, I guess. But I've never actually heard of this one prior to ordering it the other day. So yeah, that's some of the Music Mad Pirates out of the way. Now the next few are CEX ones, and I've got to like admit to something here. So I've gone against my own rules, so to speak. So I had Resident Evil Requiem, completed the game, absolutely loved it. Such a great game, love all the Resident Evils, but yeah, one of the best ones by far for me in the series. And it was still £44 at trading, so I completed the game, done some of the extra achievements, and I thought I might as well trade it in while it's £44. Why not? I can still get some money for it. Trade it in against some Xbox 360 games, maybe a big hitter or a medium hitter for £30-40. But as always, got to CEX, and in the window, spotted something that I don't really have any interest in. But that's when you're collecting, you know, you've got to have some willpower, and I just don't. So yeah, got to CEX, and I picked up this. So this is Dead Island 2. And this is the Hell A edition. Now, it looks super cool. It's on PS5. Obviously, I have PS5 as well as Xbox. I do tend to collect for Xbox mainly. And even though it's quite new, collector's editions and such like this at CEX usually are pretty bad and not in good condition. But this one was in pretty good condition, so I said, look, can I have a look at it? So he brought it out to me, and yeah, it's actually in really good condition. So there's a couple of little marks on the plastic sleeve, but then the box itself is in perfect condition. It's complete with everything inside, including a really, really cool steelbook, which I will just get out now, actually. So this is the steelbook. I'll put some more B-roll on screen. Really cool steelbook. I've got to try and fit back it. Yeah, there we go. It comes with some postcards. I think it comes with a CD as well, and another couple of bits. In fact, the postcards are all sealed and things. So it looks like someone's maybe pre-ordered this, not enjoyed the game, and then just traded it in. So yeah, this was... The reason I got this was surprisingly, I can't remember the exact price. I think it was only £28. And I thought £28 for like a collector's edition like this, a big box item that looks great on the shelf in the collection, is a game that I've not played, and even though it kind of reviewed pretty poorly, I probably would like to play. So it's a game that I've now got in the collection to play. And in the condition it was in, I thought £28, I couldn't pass on it. That basically ate into my 360 funds, what I had to spend in CEX. So I didn't pick up as much as I'd like, but I still picked up a few games, mainly cheaper ones. Again, apart from one which was not a heavy hitter or anything, but a little bit not in the basically the cheap category. So first up, I picked up Call of Duty Advanced Warfare for £2. That almost now, I think, completes me the Call of Duty set. I'm certainly not far off. So I've got Call of Duty 3, Call of Duty 4, Call of Duty Modern Warfare 3, World at War, Black Ops, Modern Warfare 2, and now Advanced Warfare. I think I'm missing Call of Duty 2. I think I'm missing Call of Duty Ghosts, which I've actually got, I think, maybe on the Xbox One or the PS3. PS3, I've got Ghosts. Or maybe like Black Ops 2 and 3 I'm missing, so maybe there is a few more. But yeah, Call of Duty Advanced Warfare. I then got Tom Clancy's Ghost Recon Future Soldier. So as I mentioned earlier, this is the second Tom Clancy game I picked up in this month, and as to the subset, Weirdly, I think this one says better with Connect at the top. I don't know how Connect works on this. Looking at the back, it looks a bit... In fact, it looks like the only way you use Connect is just to customize your weapon. Like, you can have the weapon and like add your attachments on using your hands. It sounds pretty terrible, to be fair, that feature. But at the time, everything was Connect. And then, yeah, the game that I picked up that was a little bit more money, which is actually rattling around in the case, was Toy Story 3. So again, like with my sports games, I also love Disney. Not just in gaming, but I love Disney films, etc. And I've wanted Toy Story 3 for a while to play on the 360 because I have such fond memories playing the original Toy Story, and I think it was the PS1, where you're like jumping around Andy's bedroom. So I wanted this for a while, and yeah, it was in CEX. So I think with a £44 voucher, this and Dead Island came to like 40, and then the other two games I've just shown you made it up to 44 or £43.50. So yeah, Toy Story 3, really happy to have that one in. This is probably, out of all the games I've picked up this month, the first one I will be playing. And yeah, nothing to play at the moment until Forza Horizon 6 comes out. So this will be going in and getting played very soon. Also is another one towards the Disney complete set, where I've now got Ball, Brave, Up and Pirates of the Caribbean. And then I went back to CEX another couple of times at different CEXs. I picked up World Snooker Championship 2007, £3.50. I do play snooker every single week in real life, and there hasn't really been, or there's not many snooker games that come out anymore. There used to be one on the PS2, I played with my dad quite a lot, and yeah, they just don't seem to make them anymore, similar with darts games. So I picked this one up, again another sports title that I probably, if you can class snooker as a sport, one that I will be trying out at some point in the near future. Then another Xbox 360 staple, so this is Project Gotham Racing 3, which I actually discussed on, I think the video I did last week, where it was Xbox 360 games that are not backwards compatible, so this is not backwards compatible. And this was the first ever game I played on the Xbox 360 ever. So when I first got an Xbox 360 in the early 2005, 2006, I got it for Christmas when it first came out. It came packaged with this game, and also I think it was Just Cause, the first Just Cause. And I remember literally on Christmas morning putting this game in, and yeah, it was the first game I ever played on my 360. Can't believe it wasn't in the collection. I do have Project Gotham Racing 4 already in the collection, if I can find where P is. Or I thought I had Project Gotham Racing 4. Yes, I do. I have PGR4 already. It's very, very sunfaded. Looking for like a red sleeve. It is very sunfaded, that one. And yeah, now I've got Project Gotham Racing 3 to go alongside it. Remember at the time, Project Gotham Racing 3 was, PGR3 was just, the graphics were insane. I remember like mud splashing onto the windscreen as you was driving, and my family on Christmas morning couldn't believe how good it looked. And then I picked up literally probably the most boring game you could think of, Connect Joyride. At first, when I thought about this challenge, I thought maybe I won't do the Connect games, because even though I had Connect and did play a few of them because I was youngish at the time, obviously they're not games I'm ever going to jump back into. I don't actually own a Connect sensor despite owning like 7 Xbox 360s. And this was kind of like their version of Mario Kart, their arcade kind of kids racer. And yeah, I don't know if I should pick these up. I've got at the moment Connect Disneyland, Connect Sports, Connect Adventures and Connect Mills. So it does go in the Connect pile, but yeah, I think it was like 50p. Not really worth the box and the printing. That's all I cover. And then just a handful more titles. So this one was courtesy of a friend on the Ghetto Gang. So if you watch Retro Ghetto videos, you can pay to be in his Discord, be part of the Ghetto Gang. And someone on there said that they had this copy of Fable Anniversary, which I don't have in the collection. Now it is like £18, this is CEX. And he was saying it's completely free. If anyone wants it, it's free. You don't have to cover postage. Just make a small donation to the charity, which I will be doing a couple of pound or so. And yeah, this is the Chinese version. Now, although it's a Chinese version, it does play in English. He said that to me, and it also says at the top there, as you can see, English text and voices available. The slipcover is not in perfect condition, but it doesn't matter too much because the game is. You didn't have Fable Anniversary, so I'm glad I've got that. I believe that this is actually like a remaster of the very first Fable, if I'm correct. And I've not played the first Fable since on the OG Xbox all those years ago. And I probably won't be playing this in the near future just because the new Fable's coming out later this year. But I probably will be just recapping. I'll watch some videos and etc. about what happened in the previous Fables and such like that. And then I had one final trip to CEX. So from CEX, on the last trip, I picked up some really boring games, to be fair. So Trivial Pursuit, which is the board game quiz game. That was £2. I picked up Diablo, they didn't have it in the collection, weird enough. And then I picked up Tropico 4, because I keep seeing this one on websites, and this is the gold edition. And when I opened it up, the gold edition caught my eye, but it also comes with like 2 manuals. It comes with a standard manual, and then it also comes with I can't get it out with one hand, but a gold edition manual. As you can see, the box for this one was in tatters, but I've obviously got some spare boxes I will transfer it into, and it looked like a cool game, and it looked like a cool cover that I've not seen before, so I thought I'll pick that one up, don't have it. So yeah, in total, in the first 3 weeks, we have picked up 17 games. I think that's right. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15. 16 games. 16 games? 16 games on the Xbox 360. So like I said, I was hoping to pick up about 10 a week. Didn't quite manage that, but I'm happy with 16 games to add to the collection. It puts the current total on now 276. And I guess by like the middle of May now, the target will be to hit that 300 mark. Let's hit the 300 mark, and then we can go on from there. 300 will be, I think, over a quarter of the way there, because there are under 1,200 games. So we'll be about a quarter of the way there. And that is the aim. Right now, I'm going to get these games on the shelf, so I will film myself doing that. It will probably have to be a time lapse, because it'll take a good 15 minutes to do, given I've got to pull a game out of each row and move them all along, etc. As always, thank you for watching, and keep gaming.